The sky was clear over the New Mexico desert. At the Weston Space Research Center, Dr. Alan Morgan sat alone in the monitoring room. It was 2:30 a.m., and he was the only one still awake. The screens around him showed normal space activity. Alan sipped his cold coffee as his eyes scanned the data streams. Then something changed. A small beep from the corner computer caught his attention. Alan rolled his chair across the room and checked the screen. The signal patterns were unlike anything he had seen before. They weren't random noise. They had structure, rhythm, and purpose. This can't be right, Alan whispered to himself. He ran the signal through the analysis program again. The results were the same. This was not a natural space event. Someone or something was sending a message. Alan picked up the phone with shaking hands. He called the center director, Susan Clark. "Dr. Clark, I found something you need to see now." Within an hour, the quiet research center became busy with activity. Scientists filled the monitoring room, talking excitedly as they studied the signal. Dr. Clark stood behind Alan, watching as he worked to decode the message. "It's coming from the Cygnus constellation," Alan explained, "about 45 light-years away. The pattern suggests an artificial origin." "You mean aliens?" asked Susan, her voice low. "Yes," said Alan simply. "I believe this is first contact." The news spread quickly. By morning, government officials arrived at the center. They brought military personnel and communication experts. Commander Olivia Reeves of the United Earth Space Command took charge of the situation. "Dr. Morgan, I need you to work with my team," she said to Alan. "If this is truly an alien message, we must understand what it says." For 3 days, Alan barely slept. He worked with Olivia's team to break the code. Finally, they had a breakthrough. They call themselves the Viridian Collective. Alan announced to the room of tired but excited people. "They've detected our broadcast signals and are coming to meet us. They say they've been searching for intelligent life." Olivia frowned. "They're already on their way." Without waiting for our response. "Yes," Alan nodded. "Based on the message, they'll reach our solar system in about 6 months." The world governments struggled to prepare for the arrival. They formed a united council to represent Earth. Commander Reeves was chosen to lead the welcome committee. Dr. Morgan would serve as the chief translator. Meanwhile, strange events began happening around the world. In Egypt, archaeologists reported that ancient artifacts were glowing. In the Amazon rainforest, a hidden structure emerged from the ground. In Antarctica, something beneath the ice began emitting heat and energy signals. Peter Wilson, a farmer in Iowa, called the authorities when he found a metal object in his field that wasn't there the day before. Scientists determined it was made of an unknown material and was at least 1,000,000 years old. Alan studied these reports with growing concern. "These objects are activating because of the approaching aliens," he told Olivia during a private meeting. "I think there's some kind of warning system." "Warning about what?" Olivia asked. "I don't know," Alan admitted, "but I think humanity is about to learn something important about its past." As the day of alien arrival grew closer, more ancient technology appeared. Most troubling was what happened to ordinary people. Some began having strange dreams of stars and distant worlds. Others suddenly understood complex math or physics without any training. One morning, Olivia found Alan staring at his computer screen, his face pale. "What is it?" she asked. "I've been studying the Viridian message more carefully," he said. "There's something we missed. They're not just coming to meet new life. They're coming to find what they call the progenitors, an ancient race that supposedly created life throughout the galaxy." "And they think that's us?" Olivia asked. Alan looked up at her, his eyes wide with wonder and fear. "Yes, but the strangest part is they believe we've lost our memory of who we really are. They think humans once ruled the stars." He paused. "And I'm starting to think they might be right." 6 months passed quickly. The world changed in that time. Countries that once fought each other now worked together. Everyone wanted to be ready when the aliens arrived. The first sign of the Viridian ships was a flash of light near Jupiter. Earth's telescopes caught images of 5 sleek vessels moving through the solar system. They were smooth and silver, shaped like leaves, and much bigger than any human spacecraft. They'll reach Earth orbit in 3 days, Olivia told the United Earth Council. The council members looked nervous. Some had wanted to prepare weapons, but others had argued for peace. In the end, they decided to welcome the aliens with open arms. Alan spent those 3 days studying the latest messages from the Viridians. They seemed disappointed, he told Olivia as they walked through the United Nations building in New York. It's like they expected to find something else here. What do you mean? Olivia asked. In their latest message, they mentioned the progenitors again. They called Earth the cradle of the starborn. But when I asked what they meant, they didn't answer directly. On the day of arrival, the largest Viridian ship positioned itself above the Atlantic Ocean. The smaller ships stayed in higher orbit. A single shuttle descended to the landing site in Central Park. Millions watched on screens around the world as the shuttle touched down. The door opened, and the first alien stepped onto Earth. Ambassador Kron was tall and thin with blue-green skin. He had 4 arms and large eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. Behind him came 6 other Viridians, all wearing what looked like ceremonial robes. Olivia stepped forward. On behalf of the people of Earth, I welcome you to our world. Ambassador Kron bowed slightly. We thank you for your welcome, though we expected a different greeting. His voice was deep and musical, translated by a device on his chest. What do you mean? Alan asked, stepping forward. Our ancient records mark this star system as the home of the progenitors, Kron said. Those who came before, who seeded life throughout the galaxy. We expected to find their descendants in their full glory, not. He paused, looking around at the human delegation. Not a species just beginning to explore space. The meeting continued in a large conference room. The Viridians shared information about the galaxy. They spoke of a community of 57 spacefaring species. They showed maps of trade routes and colony worlds. Earth was far from these busy areas of space. Why did you think we were these progenitors? Olivia asked. Kron displayed a hologram from his wrist device. It showed symbols that looked similar to some ancient human writing. These markings are found on artifacts across 23 star systems. They match patterns discovered on your world. Alan leaned forward. But our civilization is only a few thousand years old. We've never traveled beyond our moon. That is what confuses us, Kron said. Our records say the progenitors were masters of the galaxy 2 million years ago. Then they vanished. Many believe they ascended to a higher plane of existence. While this meeting took place, Professor Gregory Hayes made a discovery in the Gobi Desert. His team had been digging in an area where strange energy readings appeared. They found a metal door buried under sand and rock. This isn't natural, Greg told his assistant, Kelly Barnes. These markings, they look engineered. With careful work, they opened the door. Inside was a chamber with smooth walls that gave off soft light. In the center stood a pillar with a handprint outline on top. Carbon dating puts this structure at approximately 2.5 million years old, Kelly said, looking at her equipment. That's impossible. Humans weren't even close to this kind of technology then. Greg approached the pillar carefully. I don't think this was made by the humans of that time. He slowly placed his hand on the outlined print. The chamber hummed to life. The walls displayed moving images of stars and planets. A voice spoke in a language no human had heard before, but somehow Greg understood it. Genetic signature confirmed. Initialization sequence activated. Back in New York, Ambassador Kron suddenly received an alert. He looked at Olivia and Alan with new interest. It seems our questions may soon be answered. An ancient beacon has activated in your eastern continent. What does that mean? Olivia asked. It means, Kron said, that the progenitors left something behind after all. and you humans have just found it. News of the discovery in the Gobi Desert spread quickly. The United Earth Council sent scientists to study the ancient chamber. Professor Hayes stayed in charge of the site. He shared all findings with both human and Viridian researchers. Meanwhile, something strange began happening to people around the world. Dr. Samantha Wells, a neurobiologist from Seattle, noticed the pattern first. Patients came to hospitals with the same symptoms: vivid dreams, headaches, and sudden knowledge they couldn't explain. These people are remembering things they never learned, Samantha told her research team. A truck driver can suddenly solve complex equations. A teacher now speaks languages she never studied. Samantha tested blood samples from 50 affected people. All showed the same unusual brain activity. All had a rare genetic marker that appeared in less than 5% of humans. This gene activates when exposed to certain energy patterns, she explained to Olivia and Alan during an emergency meeting. The same energy coming from the ancient sites. What does this mean? Olivia asked. I think these people are remembering things from our species' past, Samantha said. Genetic memories, buried deep in our DNA. In Arizona, college student Kyle Rivera became the first person to fully access these memories. One night, he went to sleep as a normal 20-year-old. He woke up remembering a life among the stars. Government agents brought Kyle to a secure facility where Alan and Samantha could study his condition. Kyle sat calmly as they asked him questions. I remember being someone else, Kyle explained. His name was Talon Vex. He was a star commander in the Eternal Commonwealth. That was what we called ourselves before. Before what? Alan asked. Before we hid on Earth. Before we erased our memories. Kyle's eyes looked distant. We ruled the galaxy for millions of years. We traveled between stars as easily as you walk across a room. We created life on thousands of worlds. Ambassador Kron requested to meet Kyle. The Viridian studied the young human with great interest. Tell me about the Great War, Kron asked. Kyle's face darkened. The enemy came from between spaces. They fed on minds and souls. We fought them for 10,000 years, but we couldn't win through force. So we made a final plan. What plan? Olivia asked. We hid our greatest weapon, our minds, inside simple biological shells. We became primitive again. We erased our civilization and our memories. We waited for the enemy to believe we were gone. Kyle looked at his hands. We became human. At first, many didn't believe Kyle's story. But when Viridian historians compared his memories with their ancient records, they found matching details. Stories that matched word for word with texts from distant planets Kyle had never seen. More Viridian ships arrived, bringing representatives from other alien civilizations. Some came with respect. Others came with fear. If humans truly are the progenitors, everything changes, Kron told Olivia. Some species worship your kind as gods. Others fear your return. Professor Hayes made another discovery in the Gobi chamber. The technology responded to Kyle's presence, revealing new rooms and information. The entire facility was a manufacturing center that could create materials unknown to modern science. This place can make anything, Greg told his team as they explored deeper. The progenitors, our ancestors, could reshape matter at the atomic level. Across Earth, more hidden bunkers activated. In the Pacific Ocean, a structure rose from the deep sea floor. In the Brazilian jungle, a pyramid opened to reveal advanced technology inside. The moon's surface shifted, exposing massive structures that had been hidden for millions of years. Samantha developed a test to identify people with active genetic memories. More humans began accessing ancestral knowledge. Some went mad from the flood of information. Others, like Kyle, adapted and remembered more each day. Earth itself was designed as a sanctuary. Kyle explained during a global broadcast. The moon is an observation post. The entire solar system is protected by technology so advanced it looks like natural features. In orbit, tensions grew among the alien visitors. The Arcturian ships took aggressive positions. The Viridians tried to maintain peace. Ambassador Kron warned Olivia that some species wanted to destroy Earth before humans fully awakened. "They fear what you might become," Kron said. "The legends say the progenitors held the power of creation itself." Alan studied the ancient languages with Kyle's help. Together, they deciphered more of humanity's hidden past. "We chose to forget," Alan told Olivia after a breakthrough. "Our ancestors decided that starting over was the only way to survive some cosmic horror." Kyle nodded. "And now that horror is returning, that's why we're remembering. The failsafe was programmed into our genes. When the enemy approaches, we wake up." The ancient chamber in the Gobi Desert became the center of human activity. Professor Hayes and his team worked day and night to understand its technology. The machines there could create materials no modern scientist had ever seen. "This metal is lighter than aluminum but stronger than steel," Greg explained to a group of engineers. "And it can be shaped with just a thought." Kyle visited the chamber often. When he entered, the systems responded to him instantly. Screens showed information only he could understand. Holographic displays appeared, showing star maps and designs for ships that could travel faster than light. "I can build anything here," Kyle told Olivia during her inspection. "The knowledge is coming back to me more each day. This facility was designed to help us remember and rebuild." Around the world, more people developed the ability to access genetic memories. Most were unable to control the flood of information. Only a few, like Kyle, could make sense of what they remembered. Dr. Wells created a treatment to help. "This drug slows the memory process," she told the patients at her clinic. "It gives your brain time to adjust to the new information." Not all the news was good. The Arcturian ships in orbit increased from 5 to 20. Their weapons remained aimed at Earth. Ambassador Kron warned Olivia about their intentions. "The Arcturians fear what your kind once was," Kron said. "Their ancient texts speak of humans as creators and destroyers. They believe your return threatens the current order of the galaxy." Alan discovered something important while studying the alien records. "Most of the species out there were engineered by ancient humans," he told Olivia, "including the Viridians and Arcturians. We designed them, changing their genetics to thrive on different worlds." This revelation created both allies and enemies. Some alien visitors saw humans as their makers and offered help. Others resented being created as experiments and wanted revenge. The defensive systems on the moon activated next. Commander Olivia led a team to investigate. They found a massive complex beneath the surface. Miles of tunnels and chambers filled with technology waited silently for instructions. "The moon isn't natural," Olivia reported back to Earth. "It's artificial. A built structure covered with rock and dust. It's a control center for the entire solar system." Kyle joined Olivia on the moon. With his help, they reactivated systems that had been dormant for millions of years. Screens showed the status of defenses throughout the solar system. "Earth was just one outpost of our empire," Kyle explained as they explored the command center. "But it was the most important one. The last refuge." When they returned to Earth, they found more alien ships had arrived. Representatives from 37 spacefaring civilizations now orbited the planet. Some came to witness humanity's awakening. Others came to stop it. A galactic council formed to debate humanity's status. The meetings took place on the largest Viridian vessel. Olivia and Alan represented Earth, with Kyle as their advisor. "We propose containment of the human species," the Arcturian leader demanded. "Their power is too great. If they fully remember what they once were, they could dominate us all again." "Again?" Alan asked. "Were we tyrants before?" The council grew quiet. Finally, an elder Viridian spoke. "Not tyrants. Guardians. The progenitors, humans, protected younger species from threats beyond the galaxy. But some felt your protection was control." As the debate continued, Earth itself began to change. The ancient technologies hidden across the planet connected to form a network. Energy fields surrounded major cities. Dormant defense systems prepared for activation. Professor Hayes made another discovery that changed everything. In the deepest part of the Gobi facility, he found records of the true enemy. The reason humans had hidden themselves away. They're called the Void Collective, Greg told the emergency meeting of world leaders. A race of energy beings that feed on consciousness itself. Ancient humans couldn't defeat them through technology alone. So they hid their greatest weapon, their minds, inside biological shells. They became us. Kyle's memories confirmed this truth. The Void Collective hibernates in cycles of millions of years. Their awakening is what triggered our genetic memories to activate. The threat is returning. In orbit, the alien armada detected strange energy patterns coming from the galactic core. The first signs of the ancient enemy's return. Some ships prepared to flee. Others turned their weapons toward Earth, fearing what humanity might become. We have a choice, Olivia told the United Earth Council. We can stay as we are and likely perish, or we can embrace what we once were and face this threat again. The Council voted unanimously. Humanity would reclaim its legacy. The time for hiding was over. The huge Viridian ship became the meeting place for the Galactic Council. Representatives from 37 alien species gathered in a large round chamber. Holographic displays showed their home worlds and territories across the galaxy. Commander Olivia and Dr. Allen stood side by side, facing the council. Kyle sat behind them, his eyes closed as he sorted through more awakened memories. Humans must be contained. The Arcturian leader spoke first. His name was Draz, and his red skin seemed to glow with anger. We cannot allow them to reclaim their former power. It would upset the balance we have maintained for millions of years. Ambassador Kron spoke next. The Viridian Collective disagrees. If the void beings are truly returning, we need the humans to remember. Only they have defeated this enemy before. A tall, slender alien with crystal-like skin stood up. The Lumari people were created by the progenitors to observe and record. Our oldest archives confirm what the human Kyle remembers. The ancient humans were not conquerors, but protectors. The debate continued for hours. Some species feared humans would take control of the galaxy again. Others believed humanity was needed to face the coming threat. Alan studied the alien representatives carefully. They all looked so different, yet familiar somehow, he whispered to Olivia. That's because humans designed them all, Kyle said, opening his eyes. I remember now. We created species to thrive in different environments. Some for water worlds, some for gas giants, some for worlds of extreme heat or cold. The council members heard Kyle's words and grew quiet. Is this true? Asked a small bird-like alien. Yes, Kyle answered, but not in the way you fear. We didn't make you as servants. We created you as children to share the galaxy with us. Each species was given gifts and abilities humans didn't have. On Earth, more changes were happening. Dr. Wells discovered that humans who accessed genetic memories showed physical changes too. Their bodies became stronger. Their minds worked faster. Some even developed new abilities, like moving objects with thought or healing injuries quickly. We're becoming what we once were, Samantha explained to the world leaders. But the process is dangerous. Too many memories too quickly can overwhelm the human brain. Professor Hayes worked with the alien scientists to create a safe method for awakening memories. They used the ancient technology from the Gobi facility to build devices that could control the process. These headbands will help people remember slowly, Greg explained during a global broadcast. They filter the information so the brain can handle it. In space, the situation grew more tense. More Arcturian ships arrived, forming a battle line near Mars. Other alien vessels took positions around Earth, some to protect humanity, others to watch and wait. Olivia returned to the moon base with Kyle and a team of engineers. They worked to fully activate the defense systems. The moon was built as a shield, Kyle told them. It can project an energy field around the entire planet. While they worked, Alan made an important discovery. He found patterns in cosmic background radiation that matched the ancient human communication codes. "I think parts of the old human empire still exist," he told Samantha during a video call. "Hidden in distant galaxies, waiting for Earth to remember itself." The first sign of the enemy came as a disturbance near Jupiter. A small alien scout ship vanished suddenly. Its crew's last message described a darkness that ate the light and mind together. Ambassador Kron brought the recording to Olivia. "This is how it begins," he said, his voice shaking. "First single ships, then whole fleets disappear. The Void Collective consumes consciousness itself." The Galactic Council watched the recording in silence. Even the Arcturians seemed afraid. "Perhaps we were hasty," Draz admitted. "If this enemy is real, then perhaps we do need the progenitors." Kyle stood before the council. "The ancient humans, my people, built a defense network throughout the galaxy. Earth is one node in that system. If we can remember how to use it, we can push back the Void Collective again." "And then what?" asked Draz. "Will you reclaim your empire, rule over us as gods?" Kyle smiled sadly. "No, the records are clear on this. We never ruled as tyrants. We were guardians who chose to forget ourselves to save everything else. When this threat is gone, humans will take their place among the stars as equals, not rulers." The council voted to help humanity remember. Ships from 17 alien worlds brought their scientists and technology to Earth. Together with human experts, they built memory chambers where people could safely access their genetic heritage. Across Earth, millions of humans began the awakening process. Not all gained full memories, but many remembered skills and knowledge from humanity's past. Engineers suddenly understood how to build advanced space drives. Doctors discovered treatments for diseases that had seemed incurable. In orbit, the alien fleet prepared for battle. The enemy was coming, and only awakened humanity could stand against it. The ancient power of the galaxy was rising again, just in time to face its oldest foe. The memory chambers worked better than anyone expected. Each day, thousands of humans gained access to their ancestral knowledge. Scientists who entered the chambers emerged with understanding of technologies beyond anything modern Earth had developed. Doctors learned healing methods that seemed like magic. Engineers designed ships that could bend space itself. Kyle spent most of his time in the Moon Base Command Center. His memories were now almost complete. He remembered his past life as Talon Vex, Star Commander of the Eternal Commonwealth, in great detail. The Void Collective doesn't just kill bodies. Kyle explained to Olivia and Alan as they studied the defensive systems. They consume minds and memories. They feed on consciousness itself. That's why we had to hide our minds in simple human bodies. "How do we fight something like that?" Olivia asked. "With a special kind of energy our ancestors developed," Kyle said. "It protects consciousness from being devoured. We called it the Soul Shield." On Earth, Professor Hayes made a breakthrough at the Gobi facility. His team activated production lines that began creating materials for the planetary defense system. Glowing blue crystals emerged from the ancient machines. These crystals store and channel the energy Kyle described. Greg told Dr. Wells as she inspected the first batch. "They're made of elements that don't exist naturally. The ancient humans created them at the atomic level." Samantha carefully picked up one of the small crystals. It pulsed with inner light when she touched it. "It responds to human thought," she said, surprised, "almost like it's alive." The alien scientists working with them were amazed. "This technology was only legend to us," a Viridian researcher named Jill said. "Your ancestors were truly masters of creation." In orbit, more alien ships arrived daily. Some fled from systems closer to the galactic core, bringing news of worlds going dark as the Void Collective approached. Others came to witness humanity's reawakening. The space around Earth became crowded with vessels of all shapes and sizes. Ambassador Kron worked hard to maintain peace among the gathered species. "This is the largest gathering of civilizations in known history," he told Olivia during a meeting on the Viridian command ship. Some have been enemies for thousands of years, yet they all come here, to Earth, seeking protection. Ellen discovered more hidden messages in space transmissions. I think I've found proof that other human outposts still exist, he told the United Earth Council. Encrypted signals coming from 7 different star systems. They're using codes only ancient humans would know. Kyle confirmed Alan's theory. Earth wasn't the only sanctuary. Our ancestors established backup worlds across the galaxy, places where humans could hide and remain safe if Earth fell. The first real attack by the Void Collective came without warning. A research vessel near Saturn suddenly sent a distress call. Something is here with us, the alien captain reported. Something that doesn't reflect light. It's coming through the ship's hull. The transmission ended. When a rescue team reached the ship, they found it empty. The crew of 28 had vanished completely. Only their personal items remained. The Galactic Council watched the rescue team's video with horror. It has begun, Draz said, his usual anger replaced by fear. The consumption of minds. Kyle called an emergency meeting in the moon base. The defense network isn't fully operational yet, he told the leaders of Earth and the Alien Alliance. We need more time. How much time? Olivia asked. At least 2 weeks to activate the main system, Kyle answered. But we don't have 2 weeks. The Void Collective will reach Earth in days. We need to slow them down. The alien representatives looked at each other. Finally, Draz stood. The Arcturian fleet will buy you time, he said. We have 300 warships. We will form a line at Jupiter's orbit. Other species joined the defense plan. The Viridians offered their most advanced vessels. The crystalline Lumari provided sensor technology that could detect the energy-based void beings. Even the peaceful Dorvan, who had never fought a war, volunteered their ships as medical support. On Earth, people watched as the Allied fleet gathered near Jupiter. 500 ships formed a curved line, facing the darkness that approached from beyond the solar system. Humanity's defenders prepared for battle against an enemy they could barely comprehend. Professor Hayes worked day and night in the Gobi facility. The production of soul shield crystals increased. Teams installed them in key locations around the world. Others went to the moon base and the Allied ships. Each crystal creates a protective field, Greg explained during a global broadcast. The field prevents the void beings from touching your mind. Without this protection, they can consume your consciousness instantly. Kyle received reports from scout ships at the edge of the solar system. They're coming faster than we expected, he told Olivia. The first wave will reach Jupiter tomorrow. Olivia looked at the tactical display in the Moon Base Command Center. Are we ready? Kyle shook his head. Not fully. But we don't have a choice. The battle for humanity's awakening begins now. Across Earth, people watched their screens as the Allied fleet prepared for combat. Many prayed to various gods. Others sat in silence. The truth that humans were once the most powerful beings in the galaxy brought little comfort as the ancient enemy approached. In the moon base, Kyle accessed the deepest parts of his genetic memory. He remembered something important, something even the ancient records didn't mention. There's another way, he said suddenly. A last resort the progenitors created. What is it? Alan asked. A weapon inside the sun itself, Kyle said. A device that can create a pulse of soul shield energy powerful enough to drive the Void Collective back to the space between galaxies. But using it would require a sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Olivia asked. Kyle looked at her with sad eyes. Someone would have to connect their consciousness directly to the device. They would become part of it forever. He paused. I remember how to do it. I remember because I helped build it. In my past life, I was one of its creators. Before anyone could respond, alarms sounded throughout the base. The defensive sensors had detected movement near Jupiter. The Void Collective had arrived, and the Allied fleet moved forward to meet them. The battle for humanity's future had begun. The battle near Jupiter was visible from Earth telescopes. The Allied fleet fired weapons of light and energy at the approaching darkness. The Void Collective moved like a black cloud between the stars, absorbing both energy beams and entire ships. In the Moon Base Command Center, Olivia and her team watched in horror as ship after ship winked out of existence. "They're being consumed," Alan whispered. "Just gone." Kyle worked frantically at the main control panel. His fingers moved across the ancient interface with practiced ease as more memories surfaced. "The soul shield crystals are helping some ships," he said. "Those with the crystals properly installed can fight longer." On the main display, they could see the Arcturian flagship leading a brave charge. Draz's voice came through the communication system. "The crystals work. We can hurt them when our weapons pass through the shield energy." But even with this advantage, the Allied fleet was losing. The void beings were too numerous, too hungry. For every one they destroyed, 10 more seemed to appear from the darkness of space. "We need more time," Kyle said. "The planetary defense network is only at 60% activation." Professor Hayes reported from the Gobi facility. "We're producing soul shield crystals as fast as possible. Teams are installing them at key points around the world. But we need at least 12 more hours." Olivia made a difficult decision. "Tell the fleet to fall back to Mars orbit. We need to slow the enemy advance, not stop it completely." The retreat began. Ships that could still move helped those damaged in the battle. The Void Collective followed, consuming any vessel too slow to escape. On Earth, Dr. Wells worked with alien scientists to improve the soul shield technology. "If we adjust the frequency," Samantha told the Viridian researcher Jill, "we might be able to create a stronger field with fewer crystals." Their breakthrough came just in time. The new settings made each crystal twice as effective. Teams quickly updated the installations around the world. As the battle moved closer to Earth, Kyle spent more time in deep memory meditation. He searched his genetic memories for anything that might help. Finally, he found what he was looking for. "I've remembered how to activate the sun weapon," Kyle told Olivia and Alan. "It's called the Nova Shield. It was our last resort during the ancient war." "How does it work?" Alan asked. "The device is inside the sun's core. When activated, it will create a pulse of soul shield energy that will spread across the entire solar system in seconds. Nothing of the Void Collective could survive it." "That sounds perfect," Olivia said. "Why is it a last resort?" "Because it requires a living human consciousness to operate it," Kyle explained. "Someone has to physically go to the control station near the sun and connect their mind to the system. Their consciousness becomes the pattern for the pulse. They would cease to exist as an individual." Silence filled the command center. Everyone understood what Kyle was suggesting. "There must be another way," Alan said. Kyle shook his head. "There isn't. I'd searched all my memories. This is why we hid ourselves away. The first time we fought the Void Collective, millions of humans sacrificed themselves this way on thousands of worlds. It nearly destroyed us as a species." The Allied fleet regrouped at Mars. The soul shield crystals were distributed to as many ships as possible. The next stand would happen there. On Earth, people watched and waited. Many now understood fragments of their ancient history through genetic memories. They knew what they had once been and what was at stake. Professor Hayes completed the planetary defense network. Soul shield generators covered every continent. If the fleet failed at Mars, Earth would have some protection, but not enough to stop the Void Collective completely. "We're as ready as we can be," Greg told the world leaders during an emergency meeting. "But without the Nova Shield, I don't think we can win." In the moon base, Kyle made his decision. "I'll go to the sun control station," he told Olivia. "My memories as Talon Vex are the most complete. I'm the best person to operate the Nova Shield." "You don't have to do this," Olivia said. "I do," Kyle replied simply. "In my past life, I helped build this weapon. It feels right that I should be the one to use it." The Viridians provided their fastest ship for Kyle's journey. It was small but equipped with the best soul shield technology. Ambassador Kron himself came to see Kyle off. "Your sacrifice will be remembered for all time," Kron said, bowing deeply. Kyle smiled. Perhaps, or perhaps this is just one more cycle in a war that has lasted millions of years. As Kyle's ship departed for the sun, the battle at Mars began. The Allied fleet fought with desperation and courage. The soul shield crystals gave them an advantage, but the Void Collective was vast and hungry. Earth watched as their defenders fought and died. The darkness moved steadily closer to their world. All hopes now rested on Kyle's mission. The Sun Control Station orbited close to the solar surface. It was small and hidden by light-bending technology. Kyle's ship docked automatically, guided by his genetic memories. Inside, the station was a single room with a chair at its center. The walls displayed the status of the Nova Shield device, deep within the sun's core. Kyle sat in the chair and placed his hands on the control panels. "System active," said a voice in an ancient human language. "Genetic identity confirmed. Talon Vex recognized." Kyle closed his eyes. "Begin Nova Shield activation sequence." Back at the moon base, Alan detected energy changes in the sun. "Something's happening," he told Olivia. "The sun's output is changing in ways I've never seen before." Olivia checked the battle displays. The Allied fleet was losing at Mars. The Void Collective would reach Earth in hours. "Come on, Kyle," she whispered. "We're out of time." At the Sun Control Station, Kyle connected his mind to the system. Memories flowed through him, not just his own as Talon Vex, but countless others. The combined experiences of humanity over millions of years. "I understand now," Kyle said as his individual consciousness began to dissolve. "We've done this before. Again and again. The cycle continues." With his last thought as Kyle Rivera, he activated the Nova Shield. The sun pulsed with blinding light. A wave of golden energy spread outward at the speed of light. It washed over Mars, Earth, and the entire solar system. Where it touched the Void Collective, the darkness screamed and dissolved. In seconds, the enemy was gone. The Allied ships remained, protected by their soul shield crystals. Earth was safe. But Kyle was gone. His consciousness had become part of the Nova Shield, the pattern that saved them all. 3 months passed after the battle. Earth changed in ways no one could have imagined. The Nova Shield pulse did more than destroy the Void Collective in the solar system. It awakened genetic memories in millions of humans simultaneously. Around the world, people remembered what they once were. In the Moon Base Command Center, Olivia stood before a wall of screens showing activity across Earth. Cities were being rebuilt with advanced technology. New structures rose that could change shape according to need. Transportation systems appeared that moved people instantly from one place to another. "It's happening faster than we expected," Alan said as he joined her. "Professor Hayes says we've advanced 500 years in 3 months. Is that good or bad?" Olivia asked. "Both, maybe," Alan replied. "We're remembering our power, but are we remembering the wisdom to use it correctly?" The alien fleet remained in orbit. Some ships had left to spread news of humanity's awakening, but most stayed to witness the rebirth of the progenitors. Ambassador Kron visited Earth often, meeting with the new human leaders who had emerged after the awakening. "Your people are becoming what they once were," Kron told Olivia during one visit. "The question now is what kind of galactic citizens you will choose to be." The answer to that question was being debated worldwide. Some humans wanted to rebuild the ancient empire immediately. Others urged caution and gradual expansion. Everyone agreed that Kyle Rivera's sacrifice should not be forgotten. At the Gobi facility, now grown into a sprawling complex of research centers, Professor Hayes made another discovery. The Nova Shield pulse had left traces of Kyle's consciousness in the planetary network. "He's not entirely gone," Greg explained to Dr. Wells as they examined the data. "Parts of his mind, his memories, His personality were copied by the pulse and imprinted on the soul shield crystals around the world. Samantha looked at the patterns on the screen. Can we bring him back? Not as a human, Greg said, but perhaps as something new. They worked for weeks on the project. Using the ancient technology and their awakened knowledge, they built a special interface. When activated, a holographic figure appeared, Kyle, or at least a copy of his consciousness. I remember the sun, the hologram said. I remember becoming the pulse. I remember saving Earth. News of Kyle's partial return spread quickly. People came to speak with him, to thank him for his sacrifice. He became a bridge between humanity's past and future. Alan discovered something important in the deep space transmissions. The signal is stronger now, he told Olivia. I've confirmed 7 human outposts in other star systems. They're responding to the Nova Shield pulse. They're waking up too. The Galactic Council reconvened on the Viridian ship. Representatives from 57 species attended, including newly arrived delegations from distant worlds. Olivia and Alan represented Earth, with Kyle's hologram appearing beside them. The Void Collective is not destroyed completely, Kyle told the Council. The pulse drove them back, but they will return. Perhaps in 1,000 years, perhaps in 1,000,000. The cycle continues. Draz, the Arcturian leader who had once feared humanity, now showed respect. Then we must be ready when they return. All of us, together. The humans proposed a new galactic alliance, not an empire ruled by humanity, but a partnership of all spacefaring species. The ancient humans had been guardians, not conquerors. The new humanity would follow that example. We offer our knowledge and technology freely, Olivia told the Council. In return, we ask for friendship and cooperation. The threats we face are too great for any species to stand alone. Most of the Council members agreed. A few refused, fearing that humans would become too powerful again. They left the solar system, promising to watch and wait. On Earth, the first new starships were built. Unlike the ancient human vessels, these were designed with alien technology incorporated. They represented a blend of knowledge from across the galaxy. The first ship, named the Memory of Kyle, prepared for its maiden voyage. It would visit the 7 awakening human outposts, helping those populations remember safely without the trauma Earth had experienced. Olivia was chosen to command the mission. Alan would go as Chief Communications Officer. Professor Hayes and Dr. Wells would lead the scientific team. Before departure, Olivia visited Kyle's hologram one last time. We wouldn't be here without you, she said. I made the choice any of us would have made, Kyle replied. The ancient humans, our ancestors, they weren't perfect. They made mistakes. They sometimes used their power unwisely. That's why they chose to forget and start over. So we could learn to be better. And are we better? Olivia asked. We're trying to be, Kyle said. That's what matters. The Memory of Kyle departed Earth with a crew of 500 humans and 50 alien representatives. They carried with them the knowledge of the progenitors and the hope for a new kind of galactic community. Back on Earth, humanity continued to remember and rebuild. Cities grew toward the sky. The deserts bloomed. The oceans were cleansed. Old divisions of nation and race faded as people recognized their shared heritage. Kyle's hologram appeared at key locations around the world, sharing the wisdom of the ancients and his experience of the Nova Shield. He reminded humans of both their power and responsibility. We were the ancient power of the galaxy, he often said. But power alone is not enough. We must also be kind. We must be wise. We must be worthy of the second chance we have been given. In orbit, the alien ships watched as humanity took its first steps back to the stars. Some with wonder, some with worry, all with the knowledge that the galaxy would never be the same again. The legendary progenitors had returned. The ancient power had awakened. And this time, they would face the darkness not alone, but with friends and allies from across the stars. This time, perhaps, the cycle could be broken. Ambassador Kron, watching Earth from his ship, spoke words that spread across the galaxy. The sleeping giants have opened their eyes, and they remember their strength. But they also remember their purpose, not to conquer, but to protect. Not to rule, but to serve. The progenitors have returned, and the universe trembles not with fear, but with hope.